Good morning. Happy the 4th of July. I know. Probably by the time you listen to this is probably around July 10, 12. I have the tendency of putting things onto the next day and I'll do it later, kind of things. Yeah. But it is a beautiful morning. The sun's out. Today is gonna be very hot. It's around 6:30, and I'm having pizza for breakfast. Pizza, leftover pizza from 2 days ago. And if you've been listening to me, you'd know whenever I eat junk food, that's when we have a problem. But I'm not here to complain or tell another sad story, I'm sure you don't want to hear that, and I'm sure I don't want to talk about it. But I do want to say some of the things that I learned along the way. Not because I had the answer, or not because I figured them out. But I just realized it. And I wish I could go back in time and change them. Give me 1 second, let me take a bite of this pizza. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about is compound interest. Yes, not just about investment or just that, no. I'm talking about compound interest in everything that you do in life, whether it is a positive or a negative. What do I mean by the positive and the negative? Well, the positive is, it's like your investment. You have a consistent amount of investment put in every month, every day. Whether it is, you're investing in something, in the stock market, in yourself, in your career, in your hobbies. I'm talking about not, 50%, 100% change within a day or month, but just 0.5%, 1%, 2%. Someday you don't have nothing, maybe 0.0, 0.1, but a little bit better, a little plus every day, consistently. Years, 2 years, 3 years go by, you're gonna see a huge difference. The same things with the negative. You eat the junk food, you skip the gym, you keep on telling yourself this is gonna be the last time, this is gonna be the last bottle, the last gamble. The negatives and the positive. You can separate those things in your life. We just choose not to. And that's what I did. I chose not to. I chose to ignore it and keep on doing what I thought was right. So I keep on adding more negative and more negative every day and every day. And keep on telling myself, I'm gonna change one day, but today I can relax. I will add more positive, but now these negatives feels good, the junk food, the alcohol, or even the jacking off. I know, I'm going off topic here. But the simple, easy pleasures, things that we do. One junk food a day, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And they add up. And then you look down to your belly, and you're like, fuck. I look like I'm pregnant. 6 months old, 6 months or something, You know what I'm talking about. And I'm sitting here, wishing I could go back in time and instead of keep adding on all these negative into my life. I wish I could have took the chance and find the courage to do what other people wouldn't be able to do, which is stay consistent, disciplined, and working on themselves. And that's what I didn't do, and that's what I'm wishing I could have go back in time and fix it. But it's not too late. I can still do it now, right? And here's the other thing that I want to talk about. The things that you have right now, the things that you don't really think about, whether it is you're sitting on a chair, you're living in this apartment, or the toilet that you're sitting on, the car that you're driving right now, whatever in your possession right now. I'm sure you don't really think about them, right? Like your TV, your couch, your kitchen, or whatever it is that you could think of that in your possession. You don't really think of it. But then one day, all of a sudden, everything's stripped away from you. And you're living out on the street. And now you think about all these things that you've lost. And now you're like, gosh, I wish I have a toilet to sit on right now, or a car to drive, or TV to watch, a couch to sit on. But you won't think of it when you have it. That's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? But that's exactly where I am right now. I'm not complaining. I swear. I'm just saying. The things that I used to think, I never really thought of. But now, I wish I could just be grateful with everything that I had and stop asking for more and stop craving for more. And accept what I had instead of forcing things to be more than what they are. I would have been so much more happier right now. I would have been at a much better place right now. And I know what I'm saying is making no sense. I know. But maybe you get it one day when you get here. When you keep on going back to where you start again. When you try on something and you keep on failing and falling behind and feeling like everyone else is way ahead of you. And now you're just here feeling like you're not enough. You're not where you're supposed to be. Other people are way better than you. Maybe then you'll get what I'm saying. So I wanted to say today, so, you know, maybe if you still have a lot of things, don't take them for granted, you know. Especially, try not to get into a lot of debts, and try to save, because I wish I did. You know, try not to take in all the debts that you can't afford to pay off within a year or two, because these debt, if they go to 5 and 7 years, these interests, they add up like a lot. I have to learn the hard way. I keep on saying, oh, you know, I'll pay it off in a couple months or two, a year or two. It's not a problem. But life's happen. Things won't ever go according to plan. It will happen in a way that you never expect them to be. And that's when you realize you fucked up. You bet more than what you have in leverage. And once you realize you're underwater, you know, that feeling feels like the air feels much denser. You're having a hard time to breathe. You don't know how. You're gonna get out of bed now. You're just grieving what's no longer here, what's lost, and wishing you could go back in time and undo all of those things that you did. You wish you didn't do. But now I realize it's all boiled down to all of the pluses and negatives. I kept on adding more negative to my life. I didn't realize it turned into a compound effect. 4 years, 4.5 years down the road, and here I am again. Exactly where when I graduated college, I remember I recorded myself. I didn't post it, I recorded myself 4 years ago. It's still in the thing. I'll pull it up later. But I told myself that this will be the new beginning. I will change. Things will get better from now on. And I'll do whatever it takes to not fucked up again. And here I am, over 4 years down the road, back to where I was again. Only it's much worse. Gosh, I'm complaining again, am I? I told myself I wouldn't, but, you know. But sometimes things happen, and we are the people. Well, you're the one who get to choose to see the silver lining in everything. Because things seem to be bad right now, yeah. But if I look at the good side of things, you know, if I didn't have to go through these things, this podcast have never exist. And after all these episodes, you know, I think I got better. I'm sure I'm much better than I was when I first started this. Even though my stories, telling skills, and my way of talking is still not interesting. Sorry. Still not interesting. Not good enough. That's what my brain is telling me. But you know what? To be a great master, you have to be a foolish beginner. Maybe that's my phase right now. A foolish beginner. And there's that voice inside of me that keep on saying, no one's gonna listen to this. I mean, it's true. No one's listening. Well, a couple people. But I want this for you to see that it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be good enough to do it. Me? I'm fucking dog shit. My accent is terrible. I don't even know how to tell a story. It's this podcast is terrible. But somehow, I just keep on posting and posting. Because one day you're gonna die. And nothing will matter. So do whatever you want to do. It's funny how yesterday I had a client. I don't think I could say her name up here, but her name starts with an A. She is 21. But last year, so I guess she was 20 last year, she was in college and she skipped one semester. You know what she did? She went to Vietnam having nothing, being broke. Well, she had some money. But here's what she did. She went on this thing that will find hosts for you in the country where they're looking for like an English teacher. And you don't have to be good at English either. You just gotta know English. And she go on it and you find like a host family. And the host family will pay for your food. They'll pay, you live your host and you don't have to pay anything except the plane ticket. And then when you get there, you work as a teacher teaching English, but you're not getting paid. But at the same time, you don't pay for your rent, your food, anything, your water, and nothing. So it's like an exchange, a trade-off, So she bought a ticket and she went there. And she lived in Vietnam for like 3 months. And she told me it was the best thing that ever happened to her. Best thing. Best decision ever. And what's crazy is she went there by herself. At a very young age. That's terrifying. Especially for a younger, And she's a beautiful bird lady too. I'm not trying to be weird or anything. But the prettier you are, the more, I don't know. Maybe you're more likely to get, attention or harass. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being weird. But yeah, she told me, it was that time when she felt like she wanted to go away, wanted to get away because of all the things that she was going through, and she just did it. She went on the app, do it, and just skip one semester to college and just went for it. It was crazy. She told me much more. Like, she went to all these cities and going to places and yeah. I know. See, I'm so bad at telling the story, right? Because all of the things that she told me, it was so much more interesting than what I told you. But I just don't know how to put it into words. So why am I telling this story? Well, she told me something I couldn't remember. She was something like, sometimes you just gotta do it. You can't wait until you're ready. And I wasn't ready. I was broke. I didn't have enough money, and everything was uncertain. And then once you get to the airport in Vietnam, your phone get locked, and she didn't know. She was crying at the airport, didn't know what to do, didn't speak the language, I didn't know what the fuck to do. In a country, she doesn't speak the English, and it was all these stories she told me, but now I'm just going blank. But she was telling me that she went through a lot of tough things, and it make her, she learned a lot, and she more mature than who she was before, and all that. It just eye opening that a young girl can do that. And here I am, having a hard time to cope with things. Anyway, I keep on thinking about this, my way of telling story. I need to take some course on it or something. But it's getting to 20 minutes. Okay, thank you so much for being here today, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.